So the recording is on now. Whilst we go through, also we've got the chat function operational. So if you do think of a question or you want to suggest something while Susie's speaking, please do use that chat function and we can follow up on that afterwards, answer any questions or points that you make in that chat. So I think we'll start, Susie, by asking you to give your presentation, because that's probably the main bit of this. Do you want to share your slides?
Mm-hmm. Okay, can everybody hear me okay? And can we all see my slides okay with no notes as they're meant to be? Great.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you very much, Kirsten, and thank you everybody for coming along. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm really happy to be here talking to you this evening about community business and the support that's currently available for new community businesses in the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority area. I'm here representing Plunket UK, and I'm a project manager. And I'm currently managing a pot of funds from the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority, which they have asked us to spend to support communities in the market towns and rural areas of the Combined Authority to get new community businesses up and running. So I've got a few slides to run through with you. So a little bit about who Plunket is. So we're a charity and we've been around for around 100 years and we operate right up and down the UK, trying to build resilient, thriving rural communities. And so we do this by providing support to people in these areas to set up and run a community-owned business. And we do this through a network of independent advisors who are based across all 4 UK nations and who have lots and lots of different experience and expertise in community business. And they deliver one-to-one bespoke business support to community groups who are thinking about getting one of these businesses going. In addition, we offer training and networking opportunities. So, for example, if you're a community-owned pub group in the east of England, we have a network that we facilitate so that community pub groups in that area can come together, share ideas, share challenges, share solutions. Or if you are a shop group anywhere in the UK, we facilitate a Facebook group, for example, where you can ask questions of each other all the time, and our advisors drop in on that chat and give their insight too, which is also really helpful. And we also work to raise awareness of the community business model across the UK. We want communities to know what community-owned business is, and that when they have an idea to address the needs that exist within their communities, they are considering community business as a solution to those issues, and they know to approach us and our partners, Cambridgeshire Acre, to get help with getting up and running. So that's us in a nutshell. We're a membership organisation. We've got around 600 community business members, and they benefit from enhanced training and networking opportunities. They get a range of discounts on services that are useful to their businesses. So if you're a community pub, we offer reduced services for cleaning the pipes, white goods discount, insurance discounts, HR advice, that sort of thing. And we have a model rules service. So when a new community group is at the point of incorporating as a community benefit society, we have model rules that we can work through with the group and submit to the FCA to get registered. We also offer a consultancy service. So most of the support that we offer is free, and what we're offering currently in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough is free thanks to the funding I mentioned earlier, but we do also offer consultancy. So sometimes groups win awards or grants from charities or local authorities to help them develop business plans, and they can pay us to do that work with them. And we work in partnership with others in the sector. We have great expertise, but there's great expertise right across the country. And what we try to do is dovetail our support with partners such as Cambridgeshire Acre to ensure groups can access everything that they need to. So I've mentioned quite a few times now community business, community-owned business. So what do I mean when I'm talking about community-owned business? So we like to think of community-owned businesses as being locally rooted. So that means it's a business that is in a specific geographic place with a sort of geographic interest in it. It needs to have a trading element to it. So It's not quite right to say that we're not for profit, because the trading element would be of a community business is generating a profit that's then invested into the community to address the needs within that community. And a community business needs to be accountable to the local community. That means it's run democratically by the community, on behalf of the community, and for the good of the community. So a community business we would want to see holding an AGM where members all have the same voting rights, one member, one vote. Decisions are made in a democratic way, and the committee is elected and speaks on behalf of the wider community. And that way we're confident that the business is really addressing the needs and the desires of the local community. And then we want to see a community business having broad community impact. So you might have a community cafe, which is obviously a wonderful place to bring people in the community together to have conversation and reduce isolation. In addition, we would hope that some of the profits, when the traded business is profitable, can be invested back into things like perhaps the local dementia cafe or the children's playground or something, equipment for the village school, or whatever it is that that community needs. And these businesses are having huge impact right up and down the UK. I'm going to run through some examples of different community businesses for you now. So this is a Cambridgeshire community-owned shop that we visited with the Mayor of the Combined Authority in September last year. I mentioned before, you can have community-owned cafes. This is one in Wiltshire. And these are great opportunities for offering employment and volunteering opportunities for people inside the community to get young people experience handling cash and talking on a day-to-day basis with different people from within the community, etc., or perhaps looking after the social media channels of the community business. Some of you might know the Three Tons. This is a community-owned pub in Gildon Morden in the south of Cambridgeshire. We were there with the Mayor of the Combined Authority in March. It's a really wonderful place. We're in Suffolk here. This is the building on the right of the screen is a former hospital, and it was going to be turned into second homes. So the community fought that and they've bought it. And they've turned that building into, there are some affordable homes in it. There's a community space, there's flexible workspaces in there. There's a childcare facility in there. And there's a canteen which offers affordable food to all members of the local community. And then occasionally in the evenings, they also have visiting chefs who do sort of showcase meals with local produce, etc., which is supporting local farmers. And that one's a wonderful project. So that's a community-owned community hub. So those three examples are all really good examples of where a community has come together to save an asset that's been at risk or which has closed. You don't always have to have an asset to start a community business. And pop-up farmers markets are really great places to start. If you've got a space and you can make it dry, like you can see here with the gazebos, you can lease spaces to local farmers and local artists or local bakers, etc., and pop it up. And then when it becomes successful, you can think about whether it's possible to make it more permanent, or whether you want to diversify, for example. And again, profits generated by by the rent that you're charging can be reinvested. This is a community in Cornwall, a little village in Cornwall. So they had a lovely public toilet, but nothing else. And they really wanted a shop because, well, they had nowhere else to go, nowhere else to meet with their neighbours. And so they got hold of the public toilets and they turned it into a shop and a post office. And you can see they've kept the toilet as well there. So that's a really great example of a community being inventive with what they've got available to them. This is Sutton Community Farm. We have lots of community-owned growing schemes, community-owned veg box deliveries, people learning how to grow their own food, how to cook it, how to feed families, etc. If you've got land, that is a good option. And this group rescued, it was a bit of a disaster of a woodland area, and they now run it. They offer forestry classes, workshops for children, forest schools, etc. So that's a lovely idea, and that one's an urban group actually. And then for groups, again, who aren't perhaps saving an asset, but have a little bit of space, here's an example of a village. I think these guys are in Oxfordshire, and they really wanted a shop. Their last one had gone, their post office had gone, they had no bus route, etc., etc. So they bought some porta cabins, and they've made, well, you can see a lovely shop there, which serves the needs of their community and means that people who don't have access to a car can get their essentials and have a chat while they're doing it. And this is Amberley Shop on the Common. This is located in the Holy Trinity Church in Amberley, which is in Gloucestershire. And again, they'd lost everything, and they said they looked for a very long time to operate, to find a space to operate a cafe and a shop from. And eventually the church said, well, how about we have a look at using some of our space? And so they've leased a space from the church. You can see the pews to the right of the screen. It's still an active place of worship. There are still services held there, but there's also this lovely cafe where a lot of it has been made from the old pews. You can see they used local craftspeople to put that boarding together. And then there's a shop tucked away as well. It doesn't disrupt the worship and the service, but they are doing really well, and it's really well used by visitors and by cyclists in the area and by walkers. And it's increasing footfall to the church as well. The congregation numbers are going up, so it's a win-win. Okay, this one is in Devon. This is an underground community-owned shop. They didn't have very much space, but they did have a hill, and so they dug into the hill. And they built this community shop here, which is very innovative, and I thought I would share it with you. So now you've got some ideas of what community businesses can look like. So what can Plunkett do if you've got an idea of what your community needs? If you're a really early stage group, we have a helpline which is manned by 2 colleagues, George and Lucia. And they're here during work hours every day to talk to you with your earliest questions and queries. Once you've got an idea and you've run it past the community, and the community is demonstrating that they support it and they back it and they want to get involved in it, then what we tend to do is match you with one of our advisors and look at some action planning. So that will be talking you through the steps that need to be taken to get going and the order that those steps need to be taken in to get you to the point that you need to be. We can offer advisor support with choosing the right legal structure. I mentioned before that we have a model rules service to help people register as community benefit societies, but that isn't the only structure that's suitable for community business. Some people would choose a large membership KIC, for example. So we can help you make sure that you choose the right model for your community and your business. And we can support you in writing a business plan. Our advisors will never do the business plan for you, but what they hope to do is use the skills that you have within your community, fill in any gaps that you might not have, and support you with the writing of these documents. We can also support you with raising funds to get the project going. So where might you find funds for early work? Where might you find funds for capital work, etc.? And how can you write successful grant applications? The picture you can see there is a community meeting that happened earlier this year in the village of Helpston. They're trying at the moment to save their last village pub, and you can see that the community there is fully behind that project. So once you're trading, the support doesn't stop. We want to make sure that these community businesses are able to keep going, that they're viable, they're sustainable, that people are happy, that they're continuing to address the needs in that particular community. So the helpline stays, and we can continue to offer advisor support on everything from governance, so committee roles and responsibilities and recruiting people to the committee. We can support with financial planning, finding volunteers and training them and keeping them, which many of you will know is a sort of nationwide challenge for many at the moment. And we can talk to you about diversifying and how to do that. So if you're a community-owned pub that started with, just a wet offering, so just drinks, and you're thinking, right, now we're ready to offer food and we want to get the community involved in that, or we've got a space in our back garden and we're thinking maybe in the beer garden we could have some sort of mini community shop, or whatever it is, we can support you with diversifying. and raising the funds to do that diversification. And then for trading businesses, lots of practical advice. So how to stock a shop, how to find a tenant for your pub, everything you need a sort of day-to-day basis, we're here for as well. On our website, and I will share the link in the chat later, but we also have a number of free resources. So there's a selection there which are intended to help new groups to get set up, and they're all free. So we definitely encourage people to have a browse. There are many more resources for trading businesses, but they are once you become members, they are available to you as members. And then we offer a range of events and training sessions. So there's a snip here of some of the events that we've run so far this year. And we have one coming up that I will share in the chat also with you, which is an in-person event that's going to happen in Little Thetford on the 20th of June, which is another introduction to community-owned business, and which will cover some of what I'm covering today, but in a bit more detail. And we're going to have guest speakers from the 3 Tons at Gildon Morden, who I touched on earlier, and Little Thetford Community Shop. They're not trading yet, but they're working hard to get a shop attached to their village hall. So you'll hear from some real case studies, hopefully, who will inspire you with around your own projects. And there's a free lunch, so that's why I'm going. So those are our training events. And then the last thing, all of this in Cambridgeshire is possible at the moment because of the funding we have from the Combined Authority. So free advice, as I've covered off, but we also have grants to help get these projects going. So feasibility grants of up to £5,000. So these could be used, for example, for renting a space so that you can do a full community consultation, printing your community questionnaires, advertising, having a valuation done on a property that you think the community wants to take hold of, or a survey done, or joining Plunket as members, and getting incorporated, those sorts of really fundamental early stage things that you have to find the money for before you start trading, and it's not always easy to do. So those grants are available at the moment. And we also have capital grants available. So once you've got beyond the feasibility stage and you are looking to purchase an asset, or to renovate one and to make it better and offer more services, or to sort of refurbish it, then we have these grants available of up to £45,000, and they're available until March 2025, until the fund is spent down. So that's pretty much it from me. And then the last page, which is how you can talk to us, how you can access the support that I've covered, and how you can access the grants, use any of those contact details, and we'd be very happy to have a chat. But I'm more than happy now to answer any questions that you might have. Anything I can't answer, I will take away and come back to you.
Thank you, Susie. I think really inspiring them, the sort of what communities have managed elsewhere, from having a building or not having one at all. They've managed to take their project forward, haven't they? So really interesting to know. I think now we could probably take any questions, or if anyone's brave enough to speak maybe about what they're thinking in their own community and share it, that would be really good. It doesn't matter if it's just really early stage, that doesn't actually matter, because I think that it is about the support all the way through, isn't it, right from the beginning to the end, that Plunket can offer. So I don't know when anybody's got any. Oh, we have got someone with the hand up. Caroline?
Yeah, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. Am I to understand from that it's really only community businesses like the pubs and shops, rather than community interest companies, that this work is supporting? So it's fine either way. I just want to know, are we in the right space?
Yeah, so if you are a community interest company that has a large membership and the members are involved in the decision making and voting,
that's what we are. Yeah.
And there are other boxes tick where, so you've got a trading element, etc., you're locally rooted, then you may well fit into our definition of community business, and we may well be able to support you. I do appreciate that there are lots of KICs who work slightly differently and might not perhaps be right for this, but if you would like to have a chat with us and tell us more about what you're doing, we can
do that offline. Great stuff.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any more questions? Mike, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kirsten. Yeah, we're a community centre which runs and includes a community cafe, which is we're a charity, and we have staff, managers, but also lots of volunteers. We also have rooms to hire. One of the rooms is upstairs and was built in the 60s, 70s and is in a bad state. And we have a plan to completely renovate that, lots of insulation, extend it a bit and make it into an accessible second hall, second space for multi-purpose different activities, some of which we might run ourselves, some of which would be hires to community groups. Would we potentially qualify for a grant?
Potentially, Mike, yes, but we would need to have a chat about the model. So if you are a charity, and did you say you were a charity?
We are, we are, yeah, we are. I'm happy for 15 years.
Okay, so I mean, that's wonderful. Not generally what we support, but again, I would be happy to have a chat with you, just to find out a little bit more, and see if we can help. But normally, charities are slightly different from what we would define community-owned business, which is our specialism. Even though what you describe with, you know, the activities that you're offering the community, and, you know, you're generating income from your rents, etc., you know, are aligned in that respect. I think potentially it's slightly different, but get in touch with us and we'll have a chat.
And if not, I think Cambridge Trade can maybe have to help you, because obviously if it's a community building, there are other funding that might be available to support that sort of extension or renovation of your space. So either way, I think we could probably help. Where are you based, Mike?
Cottenham.
Cottenham. Oh, right. So yeah, we probably know you anyway, don't we?
We're a member of Cambridge.
Yeah, I think we do. So yeah. So I think, I mean, there has been other money for community buildings that's not necessarily linked to trading, that actually probably could help you. So please do get in touch, and we'll either way we can look at the project.
Thank you.
Okay, any other people on the call? Nikki?
Hiya.
Hi.
We've just purchased a building to turn it into an eco hub, which will hopefully house other community businesses as well. So we've already purchased it, but there's a lot of sort of development work to make it suitable, house all of those people. We're a company limited by guarantee. Are we precluded,
yes,
or
potentially? Yes. Yeah, get in touch, Nikki. We'll have a chat.
okay, lovely, thanks.
It's complicated on all this governance side of it, isn't it? I think this is the worst bit for people to pick up on, really, because there's so many rules and regulations around different grants, aren't there?
There are,
yeah.
But we do have people who have far greater knowledge about it than
I.
Questions like Mike's and Nikki's that I've been a bit waffly about. I do have people who can give you straight answers. So just get in touch.
And Janet?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that we have successfully applied and have got the seed funding, but we're at the stage really of getting our incorporation as a community benefit society. I think that our biggest question is around what happens if we have a community share offer and it doesn't raise enough money to buy the building that we would like to save as a community asset. What we're hoping to turn it into is a well-being hub, and have any of those groups that do lovely things for the population that aren't currently served by the bigger buildings like a village hall, etc., in the village, and to make it as accessible and welcoming as possible, because again, not all groups gel well in a village hall type environment, and wanting to sort of make it a little bit more sort of homely. So yes, I was just wondering what the options are if we didn't raise enough money, because I think that when we entered into thinking about this and talking to Plunkett's originally, I think that we thought that there may be a different grant that we could apply for to pay for the building, and that it wouldn't necessarily have to come from a share option.
So do you mean a different grant? Do you mean the £45,000?
Yeah, because the building that we want to save is 165.
Yeah.
So even if we added the seed money to the 45, obviously that's still 115,000 short.
Yeah.
And obviously we may raise that from a share offer, but we may not. And so I just wondered what the options are. I'm aware, obviously, of the community ownership fund, but the well, two or three different sort of elements of that, really. The timing of it isn't brilliant for us because we haven't done the big consultation of the village yet. Combined with, we've already got an application on for our sports pavilion. And I didn't want to jeopardise that by putting in a second application for the same village, really, because I know there will be a lot of competition for that fund, particularly as it's the last round. Yeah, so those are the sort of things. Are there other grants and other places that we could apply to try and raise a little bit more than Plunkett have available?
National Lottery has a Reaching Community Funds at the moment, which is offering, well, I want to say enormous, but substantial grants for people doing community projects like this. And there are various other, I mean, you can look at local charities and other foundations that operate nationwide that are keen to support the impact that your project will have. I mean, I don't know if you've got any support from Plunkett yet specifically around shares, but we would support you to get accurate pledges so you have an idea of what your community could raise through community shares, and then develop the business plan around that.
Yeah.
I
think that's the sort of stage that we're at. Yeah.
Do you mind me asking where this is, Janet?
Yeah, we're in Mainey.
Oh, Mainey, right. Yeah. So there's quite a few community spaces in Mainey, isn't there? So again, the community consultation would be quite important for.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can get displacement between places, and I know funders look at the kind of displacement if they fund one space and not another, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, which is why we're looking at a really small venue, because we actually want it to not compete. So that if people are wanting to run anything that is going to have more than 10 people attending, then they will need to use one of the other village venues that are more suited. So we're not wanting to compete at all. But there are small groups of people that are not operating at the moment. And this is partly because they stopped during COVID and haven't been able to restart again. And when they've tried to restart, they've not had enough people, and they therefore can't, through weekly donations, can't make enough to pay the room hire. And that kind of thing. So it's looking at, and I'm thinking about things like bereavement groups and some of the small groups, like there's kinship carers and that kind of thing. And as you are aware, we used to have a cafe in the village, and we don't currently. And so although I think that it would be really helpful to have the cafe on the side of the property that we're looking at, it's not necessarily at the moment designed to be a commercial cafe, because we're a tiny village, we don't really have the footfall, which is why all our other cafes who've tried to run commercially, not on a profit basis, but they were trying to run just to cover their overheads, and it still didn't work, which is why we're looking at doing it much more as a volunteer led, and looking at other ways of raising funds for it, rather so we can keep the costs as low as possible for the users.
Okay. The other funds, I think, Susie, there are available, is the Rural Prosperity Fund, which in Cambridgeshire has been split per different districts have had it open at different times. We could probably, with the notes of this meeting, send that out, because I do know some of them are still open, and they're sort of medium-sized grants that can be applied
perfect.
for. Unfortunately, mainly you're in Finland, aren't you? I think that might have closed, but we do have the information, and that is something again that could be used for community asset development for anybody that wishes to apply. Which I think has been missed almost, with it being split down in the county into these smaller district-based funding. So we will send the information. I do know some are close and some haven't, but I just need to check where is open, where isn't. Okay, does anyone have any other projects? There's some really interesting things there. And I think when we first started on this, Susie, which was about a year ago now, there's been a good momentum built on this kind of community trading side of it from where we started, and we realised that you know, working with Plug It, there's really now a lot more support available coming forward with things like share options, etc. Lydia?
Yes, hi everyone. So I'm based in Cambridge, and I recently set up an Africa Centre. It's called the Tarwa Africa Centre, and we exist to promote African arts and culture in the UK. And I set it up it's been just a few months, like very, very young, but we've done some interesting work so far. Like we've done the Cambridge African Festival of Arts. This was in April, and we did some work with the Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford, a performance event, and also in collaboration with the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology here in Cambridge. And where I am at the moment, I'm collaborating with venues and organizations to deliver events, and I would really love to have a space of our own where we can have those events, exhibitions, and set up like a library with African books, set up a small cafe, and stuff like, yes. And also looking for like startup funds, you know, where I can hire someone and pay some salary and, you know, just facilitate the growth of the organization. Yes, so that's where I am at the moment.
What I would suggest, we can connect you with an organisation that works in Cambridge that supports social enterprise called Alia. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they run courses, and they're based at the Guildhall in Cambridge. So as you're near there, it would be, I think, really good to drop in there and speak to them. And I know they've got a lot of support there, similar to the Plunkett Sport, but I think it would probably be better in a more urban setting. So yeah, we'll definitely send that to you, Lydia, that information, and follow up. They've got some good offers for everybody on courses that are guide you through sort of starting up a social business.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Do we have any other questions? I think we've got I have to go, but I'm interested in Little Thetford event. Yeah, we will send that round, the Little Thetford date after this. It is on our website, I think, but we will send that round again as to follow up in those notes after the meeting. Okay, if we don't have any other questions, Alison, can I now come to you for your sharing of the work that Cambridge Acre can do to support, and then we've got that all together then.
Yep. Hi everyone, I'm Alison Brown. I'm Head of Business Services at Cambridge Acre, and I just wanted to share literally a couple of slides with you, just to talk about our involvement in this work. So I'll just bring those up. Share. And that one. There we go. Right. Hopefully you can see that okay. So I thought the first thing just to start with was just to really tell you all why Cambridge Acre is involved in this kind of thing. So you might sort of think, well, doesn't Cambridge Acre do village halls and that kind of thing? Obviously, the scope of our work is really broad, and really we're really about trying to make sure that rural communities are thriving and sustainable in the longer term. And obviously, a key part of that is having sort of really thriving rural businesses. So yeah, one of our key aims is to really support rural businesses to be as strong as possible and to bring together together the people who are involved in running those businesses, so that they can learn from each other and hopefully bounce ideas off as you've done this evening. So the other thing I think is, obviously, as you will know, I'm sure if I asked any one of you, you would immediately tell me what's missing from your community. So the people we work with are really, they're the eyes and ears on the ground, people who really know what's needed in communities, what's missing and what's failed previously, but really is that still missed by that community. So I think, you know, we're very aware that the people we work with are absolutely, you know, have got this sound knowledge about what's really needed in their communities. And I just think that final point, you know, as we've heard, you know, you have to sometimes think about doing things differently. You know, things don't always work on a purely commercial basis. So I think for us, we know that sometimes, you know, that we need to rely on the volunteers that are in the communities to really make sure that these services and facilities continue to thrive. So I guess that's really why we're involved in this kind of work. I guess the next thing to say is that, you know, although Susie's talked very eloquently about what Plunket can do and the funding they've got, that funding is quite limited. We have also got some funding to support us to work with rural community businesses. That's also come through the Combined Authority. So we are able to offer some, it's quite limited, we've got some limited sessions available, but we can work with you. So I wonder whether it feels a little bit like sort of what we do is almost like that almost earlier stage where you're still scoping out your ideas. You're not quite sure what you're doing. You've got this brilliant idea, you know what's missing in your community, but you'd really like somebody to sort of like scope that out with you. I think really that's where we can come in, and you can see on the screen there some of the things that we're able to provide some support with. We've got various different staff who've got these different skills who could actually give some ideas about how you can do these different things when you're beginning to work up your business idea. But I think, you know, we're really clear that, you know, if we feel you can get better support from Plunket or from ALIA, we would definitely hand you over to those specialist partners who can then really drive forward your business idea. So that was really all I wanted to say. Obviously, you've got Cambridge Raker's contact details through the invitation you had for this session. So if you'd be interested in one of those sessions, totally free of charge, held online, obviously, initially, we'd be delighted to sit down with anybody and begin to sort of tease out perhaps what it is you want to do.
Does anyone have any questions on that? I think Alison's right. It's kind of that early stage. We've in the programme we've had a lot of people come to us that have got an idea, don't quite know where to start, and we can sort of start almost navigating you to the right places, to the specialist help or the, you know, the help that's needed through different other organisations. That's probably where we come in, although we can help with some of the sort of support with volunteering and things like that ourselves. This is a partnership project, and it's about, I think, really great that we're using all the organisations to bring together, you know, that level of support across all these different trading models and ways of working. The other thing we have had is quite a lot of charities and village halls actually coming to us that have probably got in a bit of crisis financially, and you know, sometimes that's a bit late to start thinking about a trading to try and get out of that kind of situation. So I do always say we're here, and actually just come to us anyway. Don't, even if you haven't got an idea, we'd rather speak to you if you've got something as trustees or as volunteers that you know, we can help with at an early stage. Does anyone have any other projects, questions? I realise not everybody's had a chance to share their idea. Maybe your early stage as well, and you just coming to find out.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. This is John Gridley.
Hi, John.
Can you speak? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I kind of waited because I wasn't sure whether there were others from our group on the call. I think I've just looked through the participants and glanced down at the faces. I don't see anybody I recognise.
Yeah.
So I think I'm the only one. So I'm a parish councillor in Ickleton, and we are. There is currently a group being set up to a community benefit society. I think this is the one they're going for, to save or to purchase and save the Eccleton Lion, the pub. And I just wanted to just put it out there that you know, we are involved. There is an active group now set up who is going to take this forward. The survey is being created, as I understand it, to gauge the level of support, etc., for saving the pub. I think it's high, from what I sense. We had the parish council annual general meeting, or the annual meeting last night, and it was clear from the floor that there's more than adequate support for the endeavour. So so we're looking forward to getting that going. So I just wanted to put it on the table, really, that you know, Eccleton is looking to save its pub, and we will be dealing, and I believe we already are dealing as a group with Plunket, and we're looking forward to gathering and using any and all help that you can provide.
Hi John, thanks for introducing yourself. Yeah, we know of your group, and we're delighted to be supporting you through these early stages.
That's brilliant.
We've had a handful of inquiries over the last 2 or 3 weeks, actually, from groups exactly the same stage you're at, really early stage groups with a real desire to save these assets. So we'll have to think of a way to connect you all. But yeah, we're looking forward to working with you. I believe you already have an application for our small grant, so
Yes, we do.
look forward to receiving that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate the support, and we're looking forward to taking it forward with some, I think, some good hope of being successful. So we're looking forward to it.
Sorry, John. Do
Yes.
come. You can make it to the event at Little Thetford that I put in the chat, or somebody from your village, because
Yes.
John, who's the committee member from the 3 Tons, his story it's really inspirational, and I'm sure he would be happy to take questions, and you know, if you have any, and share his
Right.
experience.
Was that June 12th?
June 20th, yeah.
June 20th?
June 20th,
Yeah.
I think it's 10:30 to 1:30. I've just put the link in the chat. And
Yeah.
Okay.
delivering it with Cambridgeshire Acres, so there'll be lots of familiar faces.
Okay.
And we can
Brilliant.
send it round again, can't we, with this follow up from this part of the meeting. Yeah. Nikki, were
Thank
you? Mhm. Nikki, did you? I don't know if you had your hand up.
Just trying to find the unmute button, you know, when it's all the screens are moving around. Sorry about that. I just wanted just for absolute clarity. So we've already done our feasibility study and our business plan and everything else. So if we are eligible, is it possible to apply straight for the capital, or is the capital only available if you've done the?
No, we're aware that there are projects there who are, you know, have taken the first steps, and we're keen to, if they're eligible, we are keen to support them with capital grants. So again, let's have a chat and see what we can do.
Lovely.
I think it's important that you do get applications, because this closes in March 2025, doesn't it? So not that long, really, is it, to get the money spent? So yeah,
I think it's just
worth going forward.
I just sort of just thinking out loud, but just, you know, sometimes not everyone's confident to sort of come up and speak when they're doing things. And I just wanted to sort of say that sometimes, you know, things are in flux as well. So you may not know what your structure is for the future. So, you know, probably worth having that conversation with Plunket or Cambridgeshire Acres just to explore that. So for us, this is part of our future plan for our organisation. Yes, we're currently limited by guarantee at the moment, and we've got a charity bit on the other side of things. But the plan is that the tenants for our building will become cooperative and take care of everything going forward. What the actual structure of that will be is not actually up to me and the current board. That's going to be up to the future people. But obviously, being able to give them options, I think is really important, because a lot of people think it's quite and dried, that there's just, you know, 1 or 2 options. There's actually quite a few different structures, and it's important to get all the advice to find which one's right for you, not just chase the money.
There is a lot to navigate, and I think both Cambridgeshire Acres and Plunket, although we have our sort of preferred, or certainly Plunket, I can't speak for Cambridgeshire Acres, but we have our CBS, our Community Benefit Society model rules, and we think that works really well, but we do appreciate that's not right for every group. So we try to offer a lot of sort of broad advice, so that you can sort of navigate the situation you're describing there, Nikki, and make the right choices, and Yeah, the support is out there to do that, and we do understand that it's tricky, it's not easy, it's not plain sailing.
And I think it is, I think you're right, Nicola, it's about enabling the group to understand all of it to make the right choice themselves, isn't it? And they need, they need the information to be able to do that on the table, so to speak, of all the different types.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, do we have any more?
There's me. I'm Marina. I'm sorry, my camera's not very good, so that's why you haven't got a picture of me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Good. We're in very early stages. We're trying to save a pub that the pub owner wants to demolish and build 5 houses on, and has already got planning permission to build 2 that he started, which will obviously is impacting on the car park. He's running the pub down, and you can see it, although obviously you can't say it out loud, you can see what he's doing, and it's very, very sad. So trying to get the village is very much, some say the landlords can do whatever they want to because it's their business, which is fair enough, but they haven't realised that if he does what they want and there's 7 houses in place of a pub and no nothing else, it's a complete well, it's really sad, to say the least. So we are very early stages. We've got the support from Plunkett, so I've got a preliminary meeting, email, phone call thing with somebody to get started on. And it's just, I'm just letting you know that we're trying to save this pub, and the village has got absolutely nothing else. It's just a crossroads with lots and lots of houses in it. Well,
Right.
400 houses, so it's not even that many really, is it?
No. Are you able to say where that is?
Turbs.
Turbs. Right, so it's quite rural and isolated as well.
Exactly. So if
Yeah.
they lose the pub, they've got nothing.
Yes.
So it's really sad. I'm an outsider. I'm in Whittlesea, so I'm not even in the village. But I saw straight away that there was an issue, and the group has asked me to join in. And I think because I've not got any of the angst that the village have got between these people here and those people there, I haven't got any of that, so I can be completely neutral about it all. And but yeah, it's such a potential when you see some other village pubs that are in the middle of nowhere and they're thriving, aren't they, with a tea room one side and a pub another. Or sometimes you go to these village pubs and you have to park on the street because it's so busy you can't get into the car park. There's obviously a want and a need for them.
Yes, I think it can be, I mean, obviously what you described there, obviously someone own the people own the pub, and that can be quite problematic if you want to turn it into a community asset, in that obviously people's livelihoods are all involved in that, aren't they? And I think that's why we've passed it over to Plunkett, because they've got a lot more experience in those kind of what are more tricky situations.
Yes, we've got the asset of value community.
Yes,
that's been granted, so we've got that.
Yes,
and I think we're about to start into the 6-month side of things. We're trying to get hold of the original valuation that they had done for the value of the pub, but their owners are not forthcoming in it. We've stopped planning permission. It's not it's just stopped. It's not agreed or disagreed sort of thing, so that's stopped, which I think it would be quite sad. It would be nice if the planning permission had been refused, then we know exactly where we stand. But they're just saying there's no point going to planning because it will get refused at this stage. So but they said they're marketing it, they're not. So they don't really want to sell, and it's like knowing where to go next if they don't want to sell.
Yes.
Yeah, bit of a problem.
I don't think this is unique, is it, Susie? This is
no,
picked up in other areas, this kind of scenario.
There's a lot of this, or landlords who have closed a pub, moved into it, started using it as accommodation, and then it's very difficult to get them out, and the village is desperate to have it back as a community facility, and it is really hard work and it does take time, but it is possible. There are loads of examples where communities have fought this, and it's worked. And Marina, I know you're early stage and you've not had your first proper conversation with Plunkett yet, but have you joined the Community Pubs Facebook group that we?
No, didn't know there was one.
Okay, I'll send you that link tomorrow. And you can put it out there, you know, has anybody had experience of dealing with this, and see what advice there is for you, first-hand advice. It's a really good facility.
Sounds
Brilliant.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, it's so sad. You can see what the landlords want to do, and I totally understand why they want to do it. But in one Facebook comment, the landlady, she did say, "Oh, well, we don't want to leave the village without a pub." Oh, aha! I've got that in writing, so that's a start.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
difficult because it saves people's home and their livelihood, and you can see it both ways, can't you, when they're trying to run that business and
Business sort of building land with building planning permission on it is worth more than a pub, and I get that. So they obviously want to get their own as much money out of it.
Yeah.
However, they've run the business, the building's run down. They've been getting rid of a lot of the content. So I think somebody even said the bar's gone, the kitchen's gone. So it's not going to be worth. Won't get a full valuation for a working pub because it isn't.
No.
So they're going to lose out even more, and yet they then got the right to refuse us buying it for what it's actually worth.
Does sound like it's definitely Susie, it's one for you to support from Plunkett, because I know you've got experience of this sort of scenario.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Has anyone got any other projects or points they want to make before we wrap up this evening? I think it's been a good session to hear, I think, about how projects are progressing, and particularly how many pubs and shops and other things are now coming forward. The grant is there, so I would suggest if anybody's got any ideas or anything, speak to us, and we definitely can help you move forward with the projects. We've got the Little Thetford event. It would be great to see everybody at that. We will send that out because we had another one of those, didn't we, Susie? And I think from that, people took a lot away just by having the chance to talk to each other and hear about these other projects and answer their questions in person. So that will be good. If anybody wants any support from the slides Alison shared on from Cambridgeshire Acre, please obviously just email us, and then we can have an individual conversation with you. And then if we can't, we can pass to Susie, or you can go directly to Susie, whatever really is the best for yourselves. Anything else I've missed, Susie and Alison, that you wish to say before we finish? No? Well, I thank you all for coming along. So you will get an email with the information, and hope to see you very soon. Perhaps at Little Thetford in a month's time, but if not, please do get in touch. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.